Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. Me and Jake are here for our knee-jerk reaction to Matchday 1 and our planning and preparation for Matchday 2. In today's stream, we're going to go through our teams and, well, basically how disappointing they did in Matchday 1 and talk about our wildcard drafts ahead of Matchday 2, which, if you didn't know, kicks off tomorrow afternoon. If you do have any questions as well about your team, get them in the chat as me and Jake will try to answer as many as we can before we finish up. But Jake, match day 1, try and sum it up best you can. Probably depressed.
Yeah, but it was just a bit of everyone was going in blind, and like you've said, to try to reassure me somewhat after my abysmal performance in fantasy this week. Everyone's been in a similar boat here with all the heavy hitters that people would have banked on not really performing. I mean, like the standout would be that classic front three that everyone seemed to be quite assured of.
Yeah.
Only got an accumulation of 8 points, and the only real attacking return there was the result of an own goal. So I feel like that really goes to show just how important the really big names were. I think there have been quite a few underwhelming performances from the big nations so far. We've just watched Portugal, haven't we? Just about get it over the line, but even then they looked rather underwhelming. It's only really been a handful of teams that you'd expect to do so well, like Germany and Spain. Probably not many other nations that you'd expect to be running away with teams have actually reached that expectation. There's been a lot of sketchy performances on the whole, a lot of just unexpected, just a bit boring, hasn't it? To be honest. And then on the contrary to that, you've got nations like Romania, Turkey, doing absolutely fantastically. So yeah, I think everyone was going into it a little bit blind, but it bodes well, and hopefully everyone can bounce back off this first week, unless of course those that have done really well. Fair enough to them. Hopefully they can kick on from that, because I think you do kind of need that first round of fixtures just to have the groundwork for who's good and who's not so good.
Yeah, I think, though, to be honest as well, I don't even think it's a case of I think everyone in the community's got it wrong. What I think it is the fact that this tournament has thrown up so many unpredictables. There was a stat I saw before the Portugal goal went in that 34% of the goals in this tournament have been scored from outside the box. And I was looking as well. I think it was within the first 3 days, I'd lost a total of 12 points from clean sheets from less than 0.5 XG conceded. So it's just like bonkers stuff like that, where it's just like any normal week, those clean sheets all stay together. Romelu Lukaku is a prime example of that. 2 goals disallowed, missed arguably 3 huge opportunities. Trossard puts the ball onto him, like a plate to him as well. There's another a goal for him, sorry. So it's just these small margins that very easily could have massively, dramatically changed this week, to be honest.
Yeah, you are right. Kane had a header very well denied by the goalkeeper. And I mean, I didn't watch the French game, but I don't know. I think Mbappe missed a one-on-one.
Mbappe missed a one-on-one, which every other week you'd expect him to go and score, to be honest. So yeah, again, same principle.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on. Let's take a look at your team. Let's try and keep it positive. Yeah, I think we're going to struggle.
Well, no, I'm not too disheartened, to be honest. I think it's just been a bit of fun. Fortunately, I don't lose too much sleep over the Euros fantasy.
No, me neither.
Not that I lost too much sleep over the Premier League fantasy from my decisions, to be honest, but I definitely took it a little bit more seriously as the season went on. And that being said, I definitely didn't do this as a bit of a piss take. I did put a team out that I thought would actually be quite a sensible one. And I think on the whole, you can understand that. I think maybe the one decision that kicked me off a bit poorly was maybe having McTominay captain and having no German players whatsoever. I think that really didn't put me in a good position, but it is what it is. I mean, I think if I was being sensible, I would have expected Germany to win. Maybe not quite so astoundingly. I don't think I expected Scotland to be quite so bad, but even so, I think captaining McTominay and not having a German in sight was a little bit of an oversight from myself. But other than that, I think the rest of it, I think it does kind of make sense without having much to go by. The mix up between Schmeichel and Lunin, like you'd never expect Ukraine to have been so poor against a really well put together Romania side. Lunin, he's been great for Real Madrid all the way up to the Champions League final, and I'm sure he's been good in the league as well. Whilst Courtois has been out, and then he just has. I think it's kind of like you say with the strikers missing like gilt-edged opportunities. Lunin there has made 2 howlers, which he just hasn't been known for. And so, yeah, I had Schmeichel in. They conceded a goal from outside the area. I think it might have been deflected as well.
Yeah, that was a proper honker, that one, to ruin that Denmark.
So I was like, oh, screw it. He's only got 2 points. I might as well bring Lunin in, and then Ukraine go and throw that. But, I mean, I think a lot of that came down to, I know, albeit the mistakes kicked it off, but Romania did really put in one hell of a performance this game week. But yeah, and then the defence, I mean, Trent, fair enough. I think that was a bit of a, in my opinion, a bit of a given to have Trent playing because, of course, he was playing in midfield, so there was a chance of an attacking return plus the clean sheet.
Yeah. And
thank God he did play because he was my best performing player of the game week. And that was probably because he came off in the 65th minute. But yeah, I think with that, I don't need to go through everyone, to be honest, because they've all pretty much done the same.
Yeah.
And I think I have got a valid argument for pretty much everyone there, except maybe for Scott McTominay.
Yeah, I think if you'd have had any Germany players, like if you went for like Gundogan instead of Mudryk, maybe.
Well, I think like I was thinking. I think Wirtz was the most likely for me because I would have wanted someone that hadn't proven himself in the national level yet. Because I just like having players that aren't the main man, and I know Gundogan's a proven player, so I would have just gone on a whim with him because he has been really good this season, and it would have paid off. But instead, I decided to go for big Scott McTominay, and yeah, like we say, it just didn't start me off how I meant to go on.
No, agreed. But it could have been a very different week, to be honest. Like, other stuff happened. Obviously, we spoke about the clean sheets and stuff like that. That Denmark clean sheet looked pretty secure, to be honest, for a large part of the game. And then a deflected goal from outside the box. You'd have been cooking otherwise.
Yeah, Portugal conceded a goal from outside the box. Really good finish.
Yeah.
That would have had a low XG.
Yeah.
Italy, well, both of our, as well, I'm sure we'll come on to, are both of our respectively chosen defender of DiMarco decided to throw the ball directly to them.
Literally, 14 seconds in. Bro didn't even want us to have any hope.
It was like a FIFA game with your little brother. He just wanted to give them that 1-0 head start. I'm going to try. So, yeah, it just was one of those things, really. The strikers didn't fancy it, the big ones. And the defenders, well, it's not whether they fancied it or not necessarily. It was more just the fact that players just decided to absolutely spank it in top corner game after game.
Yeah, 100%. I do think that trend will slowly die out as the tournament progresses. It can't keep happening, but let's wait and see.
Well, let's hope it does though for the entertainment.
Oh yeah. For the entertainment value.
Goals.
But for the fantasy value, it can go.
Yeah, fantasy value, it can fuck off.
Right, let's move on to your wildcard team. You are activating the wildcard in Matchday 2. That was always the plan. Talk me through this one.
Okay, so I was speaking about it whilst watching the game.
Yeah.
I was only really confident about keeping Trent in because he played, he did well. I would be surprised if Trent doesn't start. I know, as the game went on, Gallagher was probably the right decision, just to have a bit of more energy and a bit more reliability in midfield. But I do feel like they'll start the same team, especially in the midfield area. So I was happy with him. And then I think the Portuguese players did just about enough. I mean, I'm having second thoughts about Bruno after tonight's performance. I think he played a lot deeper than I'd like him to. He wasn't quite as involved as much, but on the whole, I was pretty ready to make a whole load of changes and make the most of this wild card. Hence why my team doesn't look anything like what it looked like at the end of this evening's games.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just gone for players that, considering I've gone for the wild card, I've saved my limitless for the last game week of this group stage. Um, I've gone for players where they've once again got teams where they should be slightly better or have the edge on paper, I think, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I know Albania gave Italy a decent go on the whole, kept them in the game, but they never really threatened apart from when they were gifted the chance, which they, fair play to them, took very well.
Yeah.
And then they had an opportunity, but Italy didn't seem quite on it. I know as well, on the contrary, Croatia got absolutely battered on paper, considering the stats and the scoreline. No, not the stats, the scoreline. But the stats would actually argue otherwise because they actually have more possession. Don't know how they didn't score in the second half, but I do actually feel like Croatia will be too much for Albania. So that's why I've got a double defence of Croatia to start the game week.
Yep.
And I mean, on for Gvardiol, captain, that just speaks for itself because I think I've only got him, Akanji, and Livakovic as playing tomorrow.
Right.
And then I think I've gone for triple England. That could come to bite me on the arse. I don't know. I think a lot of people were a little bit disappointed with the performance, but I have seen statistics such as it's only our second win, and we'd only won one of our opening finals games in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So I think this win is actually quite a big one, to be honest, that we played against Serbia and we managed to hold on, and hopefully we'll be able to kick on from there. I know Denmark will be a more difficult game, arguably, but maybe that will suit our style of play a little bit better, with it being a bit more open. And then I've gone for another kind of similar situation to that of Albania. Georgia had a really good go today against Turkey, but ultimately they just didn't have the quality. And I think that'll be the same with Czech Republic. Hence why I've gone for Patrick Schick up top.
Yeah.
Offered probably maybe. I could argue he offered absolutely nothing tonight.
Yeah.
Just the way that the game panned out, to be honest. But going from one extreme of Portugal to then playing Georgia, they will be the mighty favourites, Czech Republic. Yeah. I think that one makes sense. Stuck with Lukaku, like you say, probably could have had 5 on his day.
Yeah.
So maybe he will this time. And I do feel like as much as Romania were fantastic, I don't feel like they'll have enough to beat Belgium. And I know, the thing is, I'm saying all these things. They lost to Slovakia, but they should have scored so many. Romania absolutely battered Ukraine. I just feel like things will even out a little bit in this game week, and I think Belgium will be too much. And then, the two I think main questionable ones are, I think I'm really noticing just how effective ball recoveries have been.
Yeah.
Because both Kante and Lobotka got 9 points. I didn't watch the French game, but I mean, I know the type of player Kante is, so it does not surprise me 1 minute that he got 9 points.
Yeah.
But Lobotka, considering that they were against Belgium, so they were against a much more dangerous side than arguably Ukraine will be.
Mm-hmm.
He dictated the game and he was fantastic, and I watched it and I was almost in awe of how he was playing. So for him to have got 9 points as well, I just thought, you know what, screw it, let's just go for a different tactic. I've got my Portuguese players on the bench. I've got a few alternatives if things don't go well. So that's what I've gone for there. I think there's food for thought with Bruno Fernandes, whether I stick or twist with him. But I think I've spoken for long enough about my team.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. The only questions I had for you, really, to be honest, was how much is DeBast?
I think he was 4.5 mil.
Would you not just go for Wout Fass at 4 mil?
He got 5 points. That's the only reason why. So
did Wouty.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, 5 ball recoveries. Or 9, ball recoveries.
Well, and what's making you say that? To go for him?
Just 0.5 million cheaper, if money's an issue.
Yeah, that is the thing, though. I think I've been kind of clutching at straws as to who I should actually bring in. I don't think I need the money. So it's kind of one of them. I could bring Fass in. I could keep this guy in. I really don't think I think it's more down to which player is more likely to get a better return, and I really don't know, to be honest. So if you've got a hunch that Fass is more likely to be up for set pieces,
Hmm.
um,
I mean,
then I'd be more
he was in the box for a few. To be honest.
been staring at a spider for the past 15 minutes. It's now slowly walking towards me, so I'm not really one of killing spiders, but I think I might have to.
Yeah. And
So
just to point out in the chat as well, I'm just gonna say it right now. I put it in the chat there. If you are gonna be rude, no one's keeping you here. No one's forcing you to be here. If you want to go, go. You know what I mean? No one's asking you to be here. So if you're gonna be,
why is someone giving shit in the chat?
someone's, just people just spouting. Like at the end of the day, me and Jake are doing this out of our own kind of back. If you've got a problem, just leave. Jake's too busy killing flies anyway to give a shit. He's nearly he's nearly knocked the computer off.
Just killed the spider. Although to be fair, I was doing it and I was a bit reluctant to do it, to be honest, because as I was doing it, I was like, "There are going to be like 50,000 babies that pop out now."
True. My only other question for you before we move on was basically gonna be around England, and are you not a little bit concerned that we didn't look as good going forward?
We did though. That's the thing. I think we just didn't make the most of our ascendancy in that first half an hour, and then especially that second half. Serbia were really poor in the first half. In the second half, they came out a completely different side. They were rejuvenated. I do get that. I'm kind of struggling to actually see many clear winners this game week, to be honest, because there's a lot of teams that are like contradicting one another. I mean, on paper, you'd imagine France would be too much for Holland, but I'm a bit reluctant to rely on Mbappe. I guess you could just put him in anyway because he doesn't play on the final day of the game week, so you can sub him out. But I mean, there's a chance that he might not fully feature or be on his best form, having broken his nose, has he?
Who? Mbappe?
Mbappe?
Yeah. His nose is completely done. He's not going to feature in the game against Holland.
Oh, is he not going to feature at all?
No. That's what's being reported. He's not going to feature, and he's a doubt for the Poland game.
Oh wow. Well, maybe it's a Giroud one then.
Maybe.
I should be taking Lukaku and Kane out for Giroud and Weghorst.
That's where you've been playing it wrong all this time. Going for the popular picks. Forget it. It's just.
Whilst I'm at it, I'll get rid of Schick and bring in Briel and Bolo.
Now you're talking. Streets will not forget this move.
Thing is, though, I joke about it and stuff, and we probably would have joked about something like that last week. But it certainly is something that is very perceivable in international football.
Oh, 100%. Oh, 100%. Right, before we move on to my team, we're going to answer some of your guys' questions. I'm not going to do team reviews. That'll be for tomorrow's deadline stream. So if you want your team reviewing, we will do it tomorrow. Let's have a look for any questions. What do you think of Trossard to start the next game? I had Trossard this week, and I wasn't overly impressed with his performance, to be honest. And I'm a little bit hesitant because I do think Romania looked quite good going forward. And a lot of that Switzerland midfield looked pretty absent in the game, to be honest. I don't know if you agree with that. But
I think it's just one of those games at the same time, because I do think he had a few opportunities. I was kind of surprised that they didn't play Doku on the left-hand side and Trossard on the right.
Yeah.
I think Doku is a lot more threatening down the left, and I also think Trossard can fit in perfectly well on the right-hand side. So I was surprised by that, but I do understand why you've got that opinion, to be fair.
Yeah. But again, it could very easily change. Belgium had plenty of opportunities in that game. I imagine they're going to get plenty of other opportunities as well against Romania. So who knows? He still could be a decent option. Someone's asked, what's the Mbappe situation? Yeah, I think he's not going to play. His nose was really badly broken, and it looks like they're trying to get a specialist mask made for him. And I don't know how long it takes to get a mask made, but I doubt that's going to be available for Friday. And from a lot of kind of high kind of quality newspapers in France, they're all reporting that he's going to miss the Netherlands game. So
Yeah,
there you go on that one.
fair enough. Do you think it'll be Giroud?
Yeah, I'd imagine it's going to be Giroud or Griezmann up top.
Did Griezmann play yesterday?
Yeah, he did. He was awful. He's really bad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the only game I actually haven't watched this tournament is the France-Austria one.
Yeah, it was an okay game. Second half was a bit mid, to be honest. It wasn't great. What other questions have we got? Will Oblak play? Yeah, he should play. No doubt on that one. Do you think Trent will start the next game? Obviously, you've selected Trent. Did come off early with a substitution. Do you think he'll start again in midfield?
I think so, yeah. I do think so. I don't know how long it'll last. I think it might be another hour job, but I feel like he will start. I think the biggest issue is down the left-hand side and having Foden there. I think someone like even Anthony Gordon would be a better shout.
Yeah, I saw some people.
I don't know if he'll go for that.
No.
But I think I think Gordon would be so much better down the left-hand side.
True. We've had a few questions about Limitless and Wildcards as well, which way to play them round. I think you can build a pretty good team with a wildcard in Matchday 2 and not have to use that Limitless chip straight away. I obviously get the appeal, you've got that unlimited budget, but to be honest, like my wildcard team's got around 2 million in the bank, and there's no
Yeah,
one
you
that...
don't need that much money because, like we've said, there's a lot of people cancelling each other out, and I think Mbappe also does take a lot of that money, and if he's not going to be in the squad, then what's the point in wasting your money there?
Yeah, exactly. Because I think realistically this week you're probably looking on paper probably Lukaku, Ronaldo up front, and then I reckon you're just gambling on that third striker.
You're not thinking Kane, no?
Not really. Not after that England performance where he only had like one real chance.
Scored a pen against them in the Euros last time.
He did.
Well, kind of. He missed the pen.
I don't know. I just feel there's quite a few exciting forward options to go for this week rather than Kane. I don't know.
I was actually doing an Aaron over the in the Slovenia, Slovenia against Serbia game. I was like, is there a shout there for Vlahovic or, on the contrary, Sesko?
Yeah, I think this is what I mean. I like these players this week. I feel like one of them is going to pop off. It's getting lucky and finding the right one.
But yeah, because I was at one point tempted to go for both of them and just play them because you can just sub one out.
Yeah.
But then I was like, am I really putting all my eggs in one basket there?
I think you just need one.
So,
I think you just need one to be
honest.
And
just didn't either.
Yeah. But yeah, I think if you just went for one, you'd be fine.
Who would you be more likely to go for out of those two?
Sesko was just shooting every opportunity he got, you know.
So I think hit a raspberry against the post as well.
Yeah, I think he might be a decent option, to be honest, because every chance he got, he just shot. And how many goals have we seen? Well, 34% outside the box. There we go.
Do you think? Yeah. I feel like Serbia will dominate that game. I don't know what your opinion is, but I do feel like Serbia will be in the ascendancy in that game. Though.
You'd imagine so, but like a lot of these closer games, it's been very difficult to call.
Yeah, you are right.
That Romania-Ukraine one, everyone kind of wrote Romania off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just something to bear in mind. We've got some other questions. Do you get free transfers during the quarterfinal and semi-final? You do indeed. There is, obviously, if you go onto the website, go onto the rules bit, it will tell you how many you get for each round and how many players you're allowed from each team as well. A Turkey in a Bush, one of our channel members, has said, thoughts on Romania players like Dennis Mann? He's got quite a funny name.
I had Dennis Mann in whilst I was doing this before. Because he got 2 assists and he's 5 million. And I am intrigued by him. The only thing that puts me off is he's a striker, which is a shame because I would have brought him in if he was a midfielder.
Yeah.
But it's more just the fact that he got hooked off after 60 minutes. And I know like the damage was done then, but then they then brought in Hadji, who I believe is their most decorated player or something like that. Yeah. So that's the competition he's up against, and there's no doubt he'll start. Because of how well he did and he got 2 assists. But I do feel like he's always kind of looking over his shoulder at being hooked off because he's just got 2 assists and he's been taken off. And yeah, fine, you might say that's to rest him. But I also do feel like there's that opportunity really where if things aren't going well against Belgium or if they need to shake things up, that will be that change that will be made yet again.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't really rely on Dennis Mann getting another couple of goal contributions against Belgium. So that's the only reason I was a little bit reluctant. And then once again, kind of like the Vlahovic and Sesko debate I had in my own head, I would then be having Lukaku and Mann up top, and I didn't really want to contradict myself too much there.
Yeah, I get that. I do get that. I do feel like your point is very valid with Dennis Mann around coming off in the 60th minute mark, to be honest. And they are playing a lot better of a team than in Belgium, to be honest.
Yeah,
right.
Because there was opportunity. Because Ukraine, as much as they might be the better team on paper and have the more of the standout stars, they didn't play like a team. So Romania had times when they were in the ascendancy. It wasn't just like they were sat back and countering and countering, countering. Whereas against Belgium, they are going to have to defend a lot.
Yeah, agreed. Next question is Wirtz, Havertz, and Gundogan. What do you think?
Yeah, I like all of them. I don't know what you think about Gundogan now he's not taking the penalties.
Well, this is the thing, right? Because I was thinking about this. He did take an almighty whack before the penalty obviously got awarded. And whether or not that played a factor, I don't know. Or whether or not he's still on them. The only other thing that's going for him is the fact that Kai Havertz got hooked off around 61, 62 minutes for Fulkirk. And I do think that same situation will probably happen again.
Yeah, no, that's what made me a little bit reluctant as well with my German players.
And that's
Have I
why
gone for anyone? Yeah, I've gone for Wirtz this time.
Yeah, that's why I haven't gone for Kai Havertz. I saw that he came off in the 61st minute, and I saw that Fulkirk obviously came off the bench and scored as well. And I was just thinking, I think the same situation's going to happen again, especially if Germany aren't winning in that game. He'd probably be one of the first names coming straight off.
Unless, though, they would be tempted to drop him back into midfield, but then I don't know if they played the Arteta ball.
Yeah, I don't think they play Arteta ball. Same with Wirtz and Musiala, though, as well. They came off fairly early-ish, 60, 70th minute. Whereas Gundo saw out the game.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's the only thing I think that's obviously got going for him, to be honest.
Yeah, and if Havertz goes off, then of course he would be the penalty taker.
Exactly. But we'll wait and see. I'm still pretty keen on Gundo. He had more expected goal involvement than both Wirtz and Musiala put together as well. So it's not like he wasn't a non-existent option from open play. He was still getting involved and creating plenty of opportunities.
Yep, agreed.
Freddie has said, who would you sell out of Eriksen, DeMarco and Trossard? Only one, as Mbappe is my other sell. Ooh. That's difficult, you know. Because Eriksen was Denmark's best player by a country mile. Definitely should have got more than one goal. But they are playing England, who realistically, I think, have put up the best XG conceded numbers at the tournament so far. DeMarco, despite his error, was playing at left wing all game. So he very easily could get it. And then Trossard, I think I'd keep him. I think I'd take one more weekend gamble on him against Romania. So for me, I think Eriksen is between Eriksen and DeMarco. I don't know which way you'd lean on that one.
I think I do think I am the same as you. I don't really feel like. No, I think I am more siding with you, to be honest. There, I guess it's not really a debate that I've actually considered myself.
Yeah. Go on. Gun to your head. You got to pick one: Eriksen or DeMarco to transfer out this week.
Probably Eriksen.
Okay, fair. Yeah, I mean, I can 100% see the argument. England, like I said, look.
That's the thing, though. Like you could do either or because of the way days are set, and you can transfer in and out. Like it doesn't really. It's more like who you're missing out on transfer in wise. So I don't think if you've got to pick who you're going to get rid of, I think that should be judged on who's more important to come in, if you get what I mean. Because it's not really down to who does better on the pitch out of those two, because if you can't really toss that up, because I can't, because Eriksen could get a goal or an assist. DeMarco could get some kind of contribution or could somehow get a clean sheet.
Yeah.
but it's tricky to really judge that. So I feel like you take out Ericsson unless there's a better defender that can come in for DeMarco, really, because end of the day, one of those don't perform very well. You can just transfer them out, sub them out.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Right, my chat has just frozen, and now I can't scroll. So, hang on, I'm just going to have to scroll on here, to be honest. There we go. What other questions have we got? Yeah, we'll move on to my team in a second, my wildcard team. For someone asking, Riley has asked, what is this team? This is Jake's wildcard team, not a Limitless. If you want to go and check a Limitless draft out, there is a video on the channel.
Yeah, I think Anonymous you doing it. I've just seen he's put his Limitless team in there. I think it's a little bit top heavy. It's a bit heavy, to be honest. It's a bit unnecessary with all the big names, and I think he's gonna regret those decisions come game week 3 when he doesn't have that Limitless, where all of the nations that have got decent fixtures are all spread out.
Yeah.
I think we'll really, if you go in for those 2 wildcard tokens over these next 2 game weeks, I think going wildcard first, whilst there's a little bit of a clash between the big nations, and then come game week 3, doing that Limitless, I think you'll benefit a lot more. I mean, it could work for him, but I think he's been a little bit rash to jump into that.
Fairs. Right, we're going to move on to my team, and like I said, we will come back to obviously answering more questions at the end, but we'll plough on because it is getting a little bit late, and me and Jake, Mum's calling. We can't be staying up too late.
Got school in the morning.
I got school in the morning, so she's let me sneak on an extra like half an hour here just to go to stream. But yeah, like I said, we'll answer some more questions at the end, but we're going to go through my team, go through some data, and then we'll whack some more questions out for you guys as well. Be sure as well to like the stream. So far, we've got pretty low likes, to be honest, for the amount of people in here. So if you're enjoying the stream, smash that like button. It pushes it out to more people. We can get more people in these streams, and me and Jake can do them more often, which is all good stuff. Right, let's move on to my team. That's my email. Let's not have that open. Whoops. At least it wasn't anything embarrassing, like like a Pornhub membership or anything like that. But this is how I did this week. Did a little bit better than Jake, to be honest. Just a little, just a slight bit. I actually had players that did decide that they wanted to return. Picked the right decision with Verbergen over Stanek. My other goalkeeper was gonna be. Who's my other goalkeeper gonna be? It was gonna be Lunin originally. So I'm glad I did swap that one for Verbergen. He picked up 4 points, got a save right at the end of the game, so that was pretty decent from him. So very happy with that one. Double Italy defence, as you can see, didn't really work out. Wout Fast with his ball recoveries, great stuff. Mittelstadt had pretty good expected data. Again, beat both Havertz, not Havertz, what's the guy's name? Wirtz and Musiala for expected data in terms of attacking data. Mailer was a bit of a disaster pick. He didn't play. Sudikov, the less said, the better about him. He was dreadful. Trossard, again, pretty poor. Christian Eriksen, he got the man of the match, scored loads, so I'm very happy with him. He was a great pickup. 4% owned, so he kind of saved the week a little bit. Gundogan, again, like I spoke about, did have the chances and did have the data, so pretty decent. Bruno, tonight, yeah, less said the better. Rom had me in absolute pain and agony yesterday. Kane only had his one chance, so a little bit frustrating and disappointing. And then obviously Kylian Mbappe missed a sitter and had his broken nose as well. But I did actually captain Romelu Lukaku, so if he'd have done anything, probably would have been a little bit more disastrous for kind of the rank in general. Let me quickly load up my team for this week. Jake's face has probably disappeared off the screen if I'm not mistaken. Let's put him back there and there we go. Very, very smooth. So let me talk you through my wildcard team ahead of Matchday 2. So we're going for the goalkeeper pairing of Jordan Pickford and I don't know how you pronounce it. Is it Livakovic? Yeah. Gone for the Croatian goalkeeper and Jordan Pickford. Both play on different days. as you'll come on to see with the predicted data, have pretty good clean sheet odds as well. So I think either one of these could pick up a clean sheet this week. We've got Akanji. He had 11 ball recoveries against Hungary. They're playing Scotland, who looked pretty terrible, to be honest. So I'm happy to have him in the side. Gvardiol was bombing down that left-hand side against Spain. Had a good opportunity to score in the game as well. So against Albania, pretty good clean sheet odds for them. Hopefully he'll be a decent little pickup. Mark Gahey, again, very good for ball recoveries. England with some of the best XG conceded at the tournament so far. So if it did come down to it, a double England defence, I feel pretty confident we could get a clean sheet in that one. Mittelstadt, again, was okay for ball recoveries, had pretty decent data. And again, Germany are one of the top teams for predicted clean sheets against Hungary. Granit Xhaka's in there. He's probably one of the only picks I'm a little bit unsure of at the moment. But he did pick up man of the match, had plenty of creative opportunities. Ball recovery numbers were pretty piss poor, but could be a decent option against Scotland because they look pretty woeful, to be honest. Jude Bellingham's in here. Again, I'm toying between him and Saka. It just gives me a captain for the 20th if I still need to obviously roulette around with that. Then we've got the pairing of Musiala and Gundogan from Germany. Still going with Gundogan for the captain. I think he is just my boy. I'm just going to stick it through. Let's go for it. And then up top for the starting 11 is going to be Cristiano Ronaldo and Yamal from Spain. I thought he looked really, really good against Croatia on that right-hand side. I think he had one big chance missed. It was a great save from the goalkeeper. So, again, I think he could do well against Italy. And then quickly running through the bench, Wout Faes, Lukaku and Bruno Fernandes. Any thoughts on that, Jake? That initial team, that wildcard team there?
No, not necessarily. I think. Well, you're very confident on England not conceding, aren't you?
Yeah. Bit of Southgate ball, mate, isn't it?
Well, best defense is attack, so thank God I've got Kane and Saka. Yeah, what's your opinion on what was like the likes of like Declan Rice for ball recoveries? Was he all right, or did he not really do much?
I think he was okay, but nothing astounding.
But I take it that's why you've gone for Xhaka, but like you've not.
Xhaka's ball recovery numbers were piss poor as well. It was more he had like some of the most created chances for midfielders.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know you said Akanji had a good amount of ball recoveries.
He had 11. That's the most I've seen. Him and Oban from Hungary both had 11 in that game, and that's the highest it's been over the tournament.
Wow. Well, yeah, no, I like it. Do you think I'm going a bit too gung-ho on the ball recoveries then?
Not necessarily. I think it's just like a nice addition. I don't think I'd solely focus on it just for like certain players, but I definitely think it's a nice way to pick up a couple extra points rather than it being like mega haul points. I especially think for like, I think defenders it's fine to maybe focus on because it's nice additions if they get a clean sheet. But I think for attackers, I think there's more upside going for attacking players rather than players that just pick up ball recovery numbers.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, I'll have to have a little think about that. What do you think about Luka Modric then if they're playing Albania?
Well, this is the thing. He's one of the other players that might come in for Granit Xhaka because he's on obviously all the set pieces, but had a really disappointing game against Spain, didn't he?
Yeah, I guess he would have just been overrun a little bit, whereas he's probably going to dictate the game, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that is my thoughts. But at the same time, do I really want to be triple Croatia?
Possibly. It is Albania.
It is Albania. I don't know. He is one of, like, it's between, Xhaka is between him, Modric. Who was the other one I had in there? It was how do you say his name, from Georgia? But he didn't look that good today.
Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, he didn't look that good today, so I'm not really thinking about picking him. So, yeah, I am tempted with Modric, though.
I think I might bring Modric in. Because then I've got that ball recovery potential, but then I've also got the attacking returns, because like we say, he's on the set pieces. He'll take the penalties.
Yeah.
And he'll probably see
well, with the way they're giving out these Man of the Match awards as well, it's usually players that are dictating play that get them.
Yeah.
And I definitely think he could be one of the players that could massively dictate the game against Albania.
Yeah, I think Kovacic is a close second, but I think just considering the set pieces, I think it's worth having Modric as the number one candidate to be that midfielder if we're going to have someone for Croatia. But
Yeah.
yeah, I like the rest of that team. Just, yeah, I don't really have much to add to that. What are you more? Do you not think Morata's more likely to play more minutes than you, Lamar?
I can't afford Morata.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you had a few mil in
I
the
do.
bank.
I have, but Morata's 8.5, and I think if I took Yamal out, I'd only have 8.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
realistically, I could drop one of my goalkeepers to a 4.5, or drop a Kanji down to like Ricardo Rodriguez.
Then again, like if you're going to bring Modric in for Shaka, you're probably going to lose money there, aren't you?
Yeah. Then I'd need to find like an extra 1.5 somewhere.
Mm.
So that probably would be a goalkeeper. Both goalkeepers. I could realistically do both goalkeepers down to 4 million goalkeepers, because there's 4 million goalkeepers that have decent fixtures.
Well, no, unless yeah, you could, or you could keep fucking hell, Levakovic, take out Pickford for 4 million, and then you probably could afford Morata, for example.
The only thing is, though, he is flagged in the game, and he did come off, didn't he?
Fair enough. I think that's the issue with like nations as big as like Spain and Germany. There are so many good players on the bench that you can't rely on them to play that
No.
whole match, even if they are the talisman.
Yeah, 100%.
Unless you are Kane, Lukaku, Mbappe, and Ronaldo, probably.
That's probably Bruno fits into that category as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, just about, just about.
Yeah.
I think I don't know about Bruno. I was a little bit disappointed with how deep I felt he was today. He didn't really get that close to creating anything. The only opportunity he really had was unless he was creating. Sorry, he was creating and attempting to create. But I mean, the only real chance he had actually attempting goal was about 25, 30 yards out, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
yeah, I was a little bit disappointed with that. So I am toying over the idea of actually removing Bruno. But now that we've had that conversation about ball recoveries and stuff, I think it might be a Kante or Lobotka. But I think I might just stick to my gut and go for that quirky boy in Lobotka and maybe take out Kante for Modric because I've got money to spare.
Yeah. Someone just made a good point. I don't have any players playing on the 21st, so won't have a captain for that day. But looking at it,
Yeah, it's Ukraine against Slovenia, is it? No,
Slovakia,
Slovakia.
probably not going to
So,
captain
like,
anyone
you'd
like
want to
that.
back Ukraine, but after the two performances they've had, it's probably Slovakia's to lose.
Yeah. Poland, Austria, I think that could be a very close game.
Yeah, who knows which way that
That was one of
goes.
the other players I am tempted with is Sabitzer or Baumgartner from Austria.
I didn't watch the game, unfortunately. I don't know if
Yeah,
I've meant to.
Baumgartner had a good chance. Sabitzer, was it Sabitzer or Sabitzer?
Sabitzer.
Sabitzer had decent ball recoveries in Champions League fantasy. So he might be a little bit of an option. Netherlands, France, yeah, that is probably the game, but no Mbappe. And
Oh, I think that is why I put Kante in my team.
because you've got a captain then for the 21st.
Yeah, because I don't have anyone else either,
I don't,
unless I just go.
I don't know who I'd bring in. I like it's really tough to be honest.
I
Because
think you'd want to go either Giroud.
but over Yamal, I'm just not. I thought Yamal was really good. I
Yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
liked him.
That's fair enough. Or do you go for like I don't know. I don't know either. Is Gakpo a striker?
He is, and he looks pretty decent to be fair. But that French defense did quite well.
Yeah. No, it's one of those where I'm reluctant really to comment on players from those teams because as much as on paper France should win, it feels like one of those games that'll be a bloody Pavard goal or something that decides it.
Yeah, I think the big problem with this game is the wingers are down as forwards.
Yeah.
So you just have to take like you have to gamble on one of the like forwards not doing very well. People are saying Griezmann to me in the chat. Not a bad option, is he? To be fair,
No.
not a bad option at all, to be honest. But again, he's down as a forward, so it's me taking out Ronaldo, Yamal, or Lukaku,
Mm.
and I quite fancy Yamal to do quite well.
Does that mean Dembele is a forward?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like all of France's good players that you'd want are forwards.
Wow.
Let me just triple check that before I make outlandish statements. Let's not take the piss. Where are France? So France have got Mbappe, Griezmann, Dembele, Giroud, Colombiani as a forward, Thuram's a forward. The only midfielders you get in are Kingsley Coman, but didn't start. Rabiot as a midfielder. It's literally every good player you'd possibly want. So your
The
Griezmann's
midfield's almost that defensive midfield aspect, isn't it?
literally.
You're getting most French midfielders for ball recoveries or maybe a worldie.
Yeah, literally. So for me, it just feels like pointless.
Mm.
I don't know.
No.
Griezmann could be an option though with penalties.
Yeah,
I like the Gakpo shout. I thought he had a good game.
he did, but it is going to be a tough game for Holland. That
But how are France going to respond without Mbappe? Like this is a big question.
hopefully they can respond abysmally.
Well, hopefully from an England perspective.
Yeah, hopefully Holland can do him in, and then Poland can too. They'll
um,
still come. They'll still get through though.
yeah. They'll still get through. With that third place thing, most teams are going to get through. They've already won one game as well, so
Yeah.
probably getting through. Right, let's move on away from my team. Obviously, I will be talking about it more in tomorrow's deadline stream, so make sure you come along to that one. Probably start around 12:30ish, all the way up until kickoff at 2 o'clock. Before me and Jake finish up and start answering some of your guys' questions, we're going to take a look at some predictions for predicted goals and clean sheet odds for this week. We've switched it up. We've moved away from 11FI. Again, though, if you want to go and check out any of their work, it is in the description. But we're going to look at Rob T FPL. He's doing some pretty good stuff. So go and check him out on Twitter. We'll start off with the projected goals scored, Jake. Germany, Belgium, Portugal, Croatia and England as the top 5 teams there. Bodes well for our teams, doesn't it, that are stacked with those players?
Yeah, it really does.
Any surprises on there, do you think, maybe? In the attacking department?
Um, Not necessarily, because like we say, like even though Belgium lost, they still created chance after chance.
Yeah.
I think Portugal being in there is a little bit of a one to be wary of, because I really don't actually think they created all that much, to be honest, tonight. I know they got it over the line, and so you could argue that that should be enough. But Turkey, I have said this. I said this at the start before the competition started. I thought Turkey would be a bit of a dark horse in this competition.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a write-off for Portugal. I think they'll be a lot more attacking than Czech Republic were. Now that may be an opening for Portugal to pry on that, and maybe they'll benefit more from the fact that Turkey will be a bit more open. But I do feel like that's a lot. That could be a bit of a what's the word? Just could be a bit of a sketchy game for Portugal. I don't think that's a write-off like maybe Czech Republic might have been to them prior to the game, and even that proved to be a lot more difficult than it was. But on the whole, it makes sense why all of those are top of the expected goals.
Yeah, 100%. Just looking at the data from tonight's game, 1.74 expected goals, 19 shots, 4 big chances created, 3 big chances missed. So it's probably fair to say Portugal did have a few opportunities tonight.
I just don't feel like they really opened them up that much. I feel like a lot of it was just crossing into the box. I think off the top of my head, considering I did watch the whole game, apart from the winning goal, which was a good bit of play, and even then the defender really did have a nightmare. The equaliser was one hell of a calamity from Czech Republic. Bruno did have a nice cross that just evaded Leao in the first half. But other than that, there were a lot of crosses, a few headers, shots outside the box, but there was nothing where they actually broke Czech Republic down and actually had a gilt-edged opportunity, in my opinion. I think, other than, like I say, the goal that they scored to win the game, I don't think there's a chance where it was like, you have to score that.
Yeah, I'm just looking through some of the opportunities here, to be honest. There's nothing. Cristiano Ronaldo in the 32nd minute looks probably like the second best opportunity they had. 0.41 XG for that one. That's the second
Sure
highest.
was that his header?
Must have been his header. I wasn't watching at that point.
Did it go? What was it, off target or off
No, it
save?
looks on target.
Can't remember that one, to be honest.
Attempt saved, it says here. So yeah, that was the second best opportunity they had all the game.
No, fair enough.
Cool. Moving on to some of the kind of the midder teams that I definitely think we've kind of touched on. So I'm going to say it Czechy. I've been saying Chechnya, which is a region in Russia. So not that one. Switzerland, Austria, Serbia, Ukraine, and even Spain in that regard are kind of in this middle bracket. Obviously, Czechy are the top team in here. I'm loving it. I'm loving it, lad. Are you surprised that maybe, they're that high over some of the other teams?
I'm gonna get my phone here and shove it into my eyes. I cannot.
Do you want me to send it you?
No, it's alright. I can see it. I just can't go on my laptop because it'll just collapse.
No, I can send it you on what's it called? Twitter, if you want.
It's alright. I can see you now because I've gone off the chat.
Oh, that's good then.
I was just reading all the beef we were getting.
Yeah.
Can you ask me that question again?
I was basically saying, like, with these middle teams, are you surprised that Czechia are the highest team here?
What for?
Predicted goals.
Yeah, I am. But
does that mean
they must have had quite a glaring opportunity because they clearly didn't have that many opportunities. The goal they scored was not a high XG opportunity, was it?
No.
I feel like they had one that went just wide, but I am surprised that has gone so high. I really am.
This is just predicted data, by the way. It's not like actual XG.
Well, I mean, the thing is though, that they are playing a completely different side in Georgia.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you just can't decide. You cannot guess what's going to actually be the outcome because Georgia put in quite a valiant performance against Turkey. They still still conceded a lot of opportunities, but it just depends on however you want to pronounce the name, but how Czech Republic want to actually come out in this game because they know now they need to win the game. They thought they had got themselves a draw at once. They thought they'd shithouse themselves a win.
Yeah.
Now they actually need to turn up to get through this group or to have any opportunity of it. Whereas Georgia, I think, are still in the exact same position as they are debutants. They can just go into the game and do whatever they can, have a bit of fun. And so, yeah, I feel like it just kind of depends on what sides turn up and if Czech Republic do turn up with that discipline and actually take the game by the scruff of the neck. They should have that XG.
Yeah.
But if they're not careful, they could get undone because Georgia did create a lot of good opportunities today. Turkey just took their chances.
Yeah, 100%. I think as well down the bottom, we've had a few questions about Ericsson, Mann. I mean, a lot of people own Dominic Szoboszlai as well. So they're probably some players that you probably want to be looking to take out of your team this week, to be honest, with that low predicted goals for this week.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. I think it's going to be difficult for those sides.
Yeah, agreed. Right, let's move on to the clean sheet odds. Germany, interestingly, top. Did you have any Germany defenders in your team?
No.
Is that making you potentially reconsider it with them being top at 50%?
Yeah, I would say so. It does make sense because they are the hosts, and I think they were extremely unfortunate to concede that own goal against Scotland. It was just a complete slice of misfortune. So yeah, I definitely would be tempted.
Okay, some other top teams on there: Croatia, Belgium, England, Switzerland making it as well into the top 5 teams there. I think we've all got at least one defender from all of those teams between us as well. So
yeah, that's the issue really, is the fact that I'm happy with Trent. I think if I was going to bring a German in, it would be for Trent because I'm happy bringing in a Kanji. I think I liked the data you provided to say that he came up with a lot of ball recoveries.
Yeah.
They're now playing against Scotland, who have just being rubbed up the wrong way completely. Like it's maybe they'll bounce back. That is something that has gone under the radar.
Yeah.
Scotland will not be as bad as they were against Germany, or you'd assume as much.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, will it just be one of those where they try and fight, but then to no avail and they lose 2-0 because they just don't have the quality? That's what I've come to the conclusion of, but who knows? But then, of course, I've kind of banked on Croatia beating Albania quite comfortably without conceding. Hence why I've gone for Livakovic, and I've also got Gvardiol.
Yeah, same.
So, like, we've got Livakovic, so we've got Gvardiol, we've got Trent, we've got who else have I got in defence? Akanji. It's already taken up quite a few of my defender slots, and 2 of them are already playing, including Livakovic. 3 of them are already playing tomorrow. So I think the only reason that I was reluctant to maybe put yet another player in from Germany is purely because they all play tomorrow. But I mean, that can't be the way that I look towards things. If they've got an easy game, then it definitely is something I need to consider whether they play early or not.
Yeah, 100% agree with that statement as well. But it's something that did come across my mind is obviously I've got Switzerland, I've got Croatia, I've got Germany as well, all playing tomorrow. So if it doesn't go well, it does leave me in that tricky position trying to rotate those players around a little bit. But yeah, it's something to consider. Then we move on to the middle bracket. Again, Czechny, Czech Republic. We're just going to go with Czech Republic. I'm fed up of getting it wrong now. Czech Republic, they're on there with 38%. Again, one of these top teams on this model that seem to be, predicted to do quite well. They've also got a 4 million playing goalkeeper as well. So if you are on a wild card like me and Jake, you're looking for that cheap goalkeeper option. 38% probability of a clean sheet. That's pretty good going for a 4 million goalkeeper.
100%. I think that'd be a no-brainer if you're struggling for money.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be able to have that opportunity to rotate him if it doesn't go well, or you can start off without him because they're not going to play till right at the end of the game week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that can be a little bit misleading, but on the whole, you have to go by the statistics, and that does make sense. The only reason I'd suggest there is a slight bit of there is a slight opportunity for confusion or for inaccurate statistics is purely the fact that Croatia, Czech Republic have done extremely well tonight, keeping Portugal out right up until the end. But their side is set up really well to defend, to hold back, to sit back. Whereas in this case, they are going to be on the ascendancy, you would imagine. They are going to be on the front foot and they're going to dominate possession. And so that just brings a whole different opportunity, really, for the other side to actually have opportunities themselves.
Yeah.
And so I can see why that brings up the XG for Czech Republic to potentially score a couple of goals. But for them to have such a high clean sheet chance, that does kind of surprise me, considering the fact that Georgia did actually have plenty of really good opportunities today, and they nearly went 2-1 up almost immediately after equalising, and then right at the death probably should have equalised against Turkey before they went up the other end to score in an open net. 3-1 was quite a harsh scoreline for Georgia in the end. It deserved to, at the very least, they only deserved to lose by 1 goal. And even then, it was 2 worldies that beat them. So I think Georgia are still one of those sides that, as much as you wouldn't expect them to go through, they're not done surprising, I would say.
Fair enough. Finishing up, finally, before we go and answer some of your guys' questions, moving on to the teams down the bottom. Hungary, again, really not fancy for goals or clean sheets against Germany. So probably worth this, obviously, double or triple stack for Germany. Romania again, Turkey, Albania, Denmark, Georgia. Netherlands, interestingly, with 18% as well. So probably some defences you should be looking to avoid this week, to be honest.
Yeah, possibly. But I feel like, I don't know if these statistics have come up before Mbappe's been ruled out, maybe.
Yeah, this was all before Mbappe was ruled out. These were out.
That'll probably push Netherlands up ever so slightly.
Agreed.
But yeah, my phone's just died. Brilliant.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I'll just have to wing it. But yeah, I can understand the bottom teams. They're all playing against the teams that are most likely to score, so that kind of has to correlate well. But yeah, there's no issues there. I feel like if you're going for someone like that, you really needn't worry because you should be looking at players that are a little bit cheaper elsewhere to avoid that kind of dilemma. And to be honest, like we've discussed, on the whole, you don't really need all of your transfer budget this week.
True indeed on that one. Right, let's answer some of your guys' questions. It is getting quite late, so we'll probably do about 10 minutes of these, but I will be back for tomorrow's deadline around about 12:30 if you want your team rating, or if you do have any further questions for myself. We'll start off with a turkey in a bush. He says, will Kane play? Yeah.
Yeah, of course he will.
Yeah, I think he will indeed. Team ratings we will do in tomorrow's stream, so get them in there. What other questions have we got? I'm a new player. I'm feeling very sad because I made Bruno my captain. It is what it is, mate. I won't worry about it. Wirtz or Musiala? Charlie asks.
I actually think there's more chance Musiala finishes the game than Wirtz. That's the only logic I can go by.
Yeah, I think he played more minutes in this first game against Scotland as well, so I think that's the one. To start off with, Charlie put Wirtz versus musicals, so, you know.
Oh, well, in that case, I think... No, I think musicals still wins.
100%. What other questions have we got? When's Lewandowski back? The fact that he didn't even go to warm up in that first game, it doesn't bode well. No, I don't think he's 100% there. I think Poland, if he wants to feature at all, it probably will be in this game, but I feel it might be off the bench and he might be available for the third game. But yeah, the fact that he didn't even go and warm up, yeah, I'm not 100% convinced, to be honest.
Yeah, when it was 2-1. That is exactly why you have a slightly unfit star man on your bench to just come on for the last few minutes, and yet he still didn't come on then, which means they just were not willing to risk that.
No, which makes me think again, probably this game, such a short turnaround, he's not going to be ready to start, is he?
No, you wouldn't imagine so.
Yeah. Freddie said, is it insane to go without any Croatia assets? I mean... They did lose the opening game 3-0.
I just think it depends why you're going for it. If it's because you're going for it because you filled your squad with players that you really back, then fair enough. But if you're doing it because you think Albania are going to win 3-0, then I do think that is a little bit insane.
Yeah, I do get it. I get. Obviously, people see that result. Croatia weren't impressive. I think, to be honest, a defender from Croatia seems like a little bit of a no-brainer. An attacker, it's a little bit more hard to justify because they looked so null going forward.
I do think 3-0 was a little bit harsh on.
Well, Croatia won the game on XG. They beat Spain, so. But at the end,
and it was the first game in 26 consecutive games that Spain were out-possessioned.
Yeah. I think it says a lot. Next question we've had from Off Court, again, one of our other channel members. He says, who is a player you think is being overlooked this match day? I'm going to go and look at the selected. Let's go and have a look. Any ideas, lad?
No, off the top of my head, I can't really think. I don't think there's anyone being overlooked. I think we've given honourable mentions to players. I think the likes of, like we said, the Romanians that have played very well. I think you've got to give them honourable mention, but the task at hand is a lot more difficult and is a much more different task than it was this game week. So I don't think there's anyone that's really standing out to me. I think maybe the only place I'd maybe raise question for is someone from Turkey, because like I've said, Portugal might have dominated the game, but they really didn't worry me too much, which surprised me because I did really fancy Portugal to be quite a scary asset this tournament. Turkey, on the other hand, I do think they have that dark horse in them, and I do think they have the potential to topple someone. So maybe there's someone that you could consider there. But to say that anyone's been overlooked, I'm not too sure. I don't know about you, Tom.
I think just having a look through some of the players, I think anyone that has a more difficult fixture this week, so I'm looking at people like Yamal Morata, who we've kind of touched on as well, might be one of the players that's been potentially overlooked this week. Cody Gakpo, only at 4% owned. Again, could do something against France, but it feels like to me it is those type of players. I think
Giroud then in that case.
yeah, Giroud, Griezmann, who's kind of been mentioned in this chat a few times as well. Those are the players that it feels like to me potentially being a little bit overlooked this week. Interestingly, I feel like Ukraine players might be as well.
But who knows? Because you could
Exactly.
argue maybe you could argue Slovakia players.
Well, exactly. I think it works. I genuinely think it works both ways. But I feel like a lot of people were quite hot on Ukraine match day 1. I know I had a Ukrainian, you had a Ukrainian. All of a sudden, we're not even bothered with them.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good point.
just putting it out there. Like I know they were poor and they lost, but if they want any chance of progressing out of this tournament, they've got to
They
win
have
this
to
game.
get it. Yeah.
So maybe it's a team that we're potentially overlooking a little bit.
Yeah, fair dues.
Cool. Is Dubravka a good shout for a reserve keeper? I already have the thingy one, and is Unai Simon a good one? I think if you've already got a decent keeper in the Croatian goalkeeper, I'm not going to butcher his name again. I've already done it about 8 times in the stream, but I think the 4 million goalkeepers are very good shouts for this week, to be honest. The one from Czech Republic. There's also the one from Austria as well. I think it's Pence, his name is. For 4 million, like, this is the thing. Don't spend too much on goalkeepers when you're just playing week by week, to be honest, because, I mean, I picked Verbergen 4.5. He got me 4 points. That's all I needed. My 3 million goalkeeper from this week picked up 3 points against Portugal. Like, I just wouldn't deep it too much with the goalkeepers. They're not going to ever get you, like, mega hauls unless, like, obviously Unai Simon got a mega haul because he saved that penalty and they went on to get a clean sheet. But that's not going to happen every single week, and you've got to have that little bit of luck with it.
Yeah, because it shouldn't have even been a pen. He should have knocked the ball in the empty net, really.
Exactly. Him just being a clown. So, again, goalkeepers for me, a little bit of thought, but I wouldn't spend too much time on it because it's, I'd just say back the team that's predicted to do well for a clean sheet and hope they pick up a couple save points. That's probably the best you can hope for.
Yeah.
He's also said Yamal, Griezmann, and Leao are strikers. I like the Griezmann one. I like the Yamal one. Leao, no.
Yeah, I don't know about Leao.
No.
Wasn't impressed with him tonight. He's a fast player, but there wasn't much of an end product tonight, unfortunately.
Yeah, 100% agree. Charlie said, Tom, will Chiesa cook? I mean, he looked all right in the opening game. It's going to be a lot more of a difficult game against Spain, so it's a harder one to call that one. Probably, I think there's better striker options this week.
Agreed.
Yes, I am still wildcarding for Matchday 2. If you want to go back a little bit, you can see the team that I've currently got, or just come along to the deadline stream tomorrow. Offcore has agreed with your Giroud shout as well, Jake. And then the final question of today's stream, because it is getting a little bit late. We've had, I will go for the, it's not even a question. It's just a statement. It's just a statement. I'm just going to finish with a question for you, Jake, and then we're going to end it because I'm tired and I have to stream tomorrow as well. But I'm going to ask you, what's the highest scoring game going to be this week?
I'm going to go for Slovakia against Ukraine.
Oh, yeah. You've picked a good one there, mate. You've picked a right good one.
How about you?
I'm looking at Slovenia versus Serbia for mine.
Nice. In that case, I might have to Chesko and Vlahovic it.
Yeah. You've got to, really. You've got to. I mean, Georgia versus Czech Republic as well is a pretty good one, to be honest.
That is good. That is a stinker of a goal fest.
Yeah, 100%.
Nice. Look forward to them.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, that was going to be the final question. I'm a little bit tired and want to go to sleep because I have to stream tomorrow. That sounds like it's a pain. It's not a pain. I can't wait for it. But like I said,
I'm in work at 7, so I need to.
Jake needs to go to bed. I'm all good. I can work from home tomorrow and then stream in the afternoon. Like I said, there will be a stream for that one. But thank you very much for everyone that's been in today's stream and contributed. If you did enjoy the content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But me and Jake are going to go get some sleep, and I'll see you tomorrow.